Once I decided to be cremated, I made up a list of 13 different places that I wanted my ashes to go. And my wife looked at it and she said, "You know, Hoff, I think you're spreading yourself a little too thin."
Yes.
A death cafe is a meeting of people, usually strangers, who gather together to drink tea and coffee and eat cake and talk about death. There's no agenda. The conversation is completely driven by what the death cafe attendees want to talk about. We've certainly had a taboo around talking about death. We have a lot of denial of death. We're very anti-aging. The death positive movement is based on this idea that we just need to break the silence around death. And I think that silence is getting broken. Thank you everyone for coming today to the Death Cafe. Does anyone want to start with anything?
My name is Valerie. I normally write about personal finance. I'm a freelance writer, but I've been getting into writing about death because I'm finding death as a topic is even more taboo than money.
I think there's also a lot of reasons why more and more people are now willing to talk about death. We are in a time where people are talking about race, gender identity, consent. It's sort of like the roof has been blown off. It's okay to talk about all the different elephants in the room. And one of those elephants in the room is death.
My family never talks about it. You don't talk about death, you don't talk about bad things, you don't talk about XYZ. I walked up to my grandma, I said, "Hey grandma, what are you doing when you die?" She's like, "Well, Lindsay, I'll have you know I have a box in the basement all ready to go." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Oh, it's got my dress in there, it's got my will." And so it's kind of relieving for my mother to know exactly what my grandparents want. I feel like we're a lot closer now because of it.
I think it's completely normal to be curious about death and to want to connect with other people about it.
I sometimes look at my son and I say, "Boy, I hope you don't miss me half as much as I miss my mom." There's so much weight and gravitas to what that is. Here's what it might be like for you when I'm gone.
One of the things that has surprised me the most is how often we find ourselves laughing at death cafes. When we talk about death, we are also talking about our lives, and in those dynamics, there is a lot of humor.
I just said, well, I want a natural death. Like, I want to be returned to the earth. I want to just let the animals get at me. And I just sort of said it that way, and people were like, "What?" You know? They're like, "That's so gross. You can't let the animals get at me."
The death positive movement, one of our goals is to really change the way we deal with death in this country. And we can't do that unless we take this first step. And the first step is just having a conversation about it.
We were at a dinner party the other night, and I don't bring it up. I don't bring up the death thing. But it came up, and at the end of the night, my best friend said to me, "You know, Hoff, you used to be the life of the party. Now you're the death of the party."